Hello YouTube. No one wants to greet you.
Pause it, YouTube.
Cool. Right, what we got here in this SQL test, so, I read the scenario. The scenario says your class wishes to create a common movie database on movies that you have watched for everyone to access, and you can write SQL queries to deal with it. Alright, so it says paste all your answers into answers.doc, and we'll take a look at the actual data. So we have a movie database table which actually consists of the actual rating of the movie, what the box office grosses, and some details of it. It then contains the actual the details of the actors that could potentially act on it, and then a linking table which will show which actors played in which movies. And then from there, I think this was, I don't think I said this, but it was a very good test if I remember correctly. The first thing it says, display titles and year of release of movies that were released before 2000. This should be quite easy, so let's open up our database and work on it. If this happens to you where, okay, it's opening in a nice way, so it obviously was updated. I would suggest you open up all three of your tables so you can see your stuff directly in front of you. It saves you from having to look back and forward. I think all of you guys do this already anyway. Just one thing, in your matric finals, I'm not here when you guys are writing your matric finals, just to show you guys how to get it so it opens like this and it doesn't open up in tabbed windows, is you go to, please do remember this because it is important, you go through to File, Options, you go to Current Database, and you choose their overlapping windows. When you choose that, you will it will ask you, it says this will not effect won't change until you've closed it and reopened it. So you'll then close your database and reopen it. It will then allow you to lay it out like this. Otherwise, what it does is it does it in different tabs in here, and you can't see them all together. You have to be on one or the other. You can't lay them out like this. Now, obviously, my screen resolution, this doesn't look very good anyway. But if you guys have a higher screen resolution, you'd be able to lay it out much better, which you do kind of in your guys' computers have higher than my data projector does. Okay, now if we're moving on from this, if we've got, we're now going to start creating our query. So it's create query design, you close, you go to the SQL version of it, or view of it, let's move it up. Alright, now, so sorry about that, but the setup is now done. Display titles and year of release of movies that were released before the year 2000. So now if we look at that's birth date of actress, if we look at our movies as concerned, it's just a year, it's just an integer, so that would just be select, it says display the title, so title is with a capital T, and the year of release from TBL movie, where so some of you guys prefer doing it like this. Select the fields from the table where it doesn't matter, you can do it however you want, but I think a lot of people like to be presented in this way because it shows it as logical different steps, and I'm happy with that. Select the fields from which table where year is less, did it say earlier than or after 2000? Before 2000, which means it would be less than 2000. It didn't say 2000 or before, it said before 2000, which means less than 2000. Okay, so we would run this to test this. Sweet. We go back to SQL, we copy and paste this into our Word document, which would be answers.txt or whatever, and we paste it into the spot that it's got there. Cool. I shouldn't put other associated. They obviously set this test. It's just I left it in there. Yeah.
So just how would you set it so that if you wanted to include the year 2000, you just put equals?
Yeah, if you wanted to include the year 2000, you just add the equal sign here. If you wanted it to be, yeah.
Does it matter which one you put first, or do you have to put the less than?
Less than has to be before equals. Equals to less than doesn't work. It's like, huh? What are you talking about? That is the correct way. Yeah. Now, basically, marks allocation. There would be a mark for that. There would be a mark for that, and potentially a mark for that, I'd guess. I mean, there'll be 3 marks allocated. It depends on where. So guys, realize just if you don't get full marks doesn't mean you. The memo would include what it was. So I would guess it would be. I would probably give it like that. That would probably be how I would allocate it. Anyway, now Yeah, but this would be the whole the fact that you did a where condition. This would be for the fact that it was less than or equal to. So you know what I mean. So this would be the fact that you did a whole where. The from TBL movie where year something 2000 would be that one mark that I indicated on the right there. The other mark would be for the less than. Does that make sense? Okay. Now the next one is question 2. Question 2 states there, display all male actors in alphabetical order. So let's go try find this. So select, it doesn't give me which fields to display, so I can just say star from, oops, sorry, new line. Yeah, from TBL actor. By the way, Actron I think is the unisex term, so I don't know why they just didn't call it TBL Actron, but now there's a condition. We need the gender to be equal to its text, so you put in inverted commas, male. If we look through there, we look at the genders. Males are M, yeah, they're M. And it said order by, what is it ordering by? Alphabetical order, so it's by the actor's name. If we run it, ordered alphabetically, my actor's name. We're happy with that. We switch over to SQL. Guys, this stuff is quite easy so far. We shouldn't be, all of you should have 100% right now. If you didn't, I would be very upset. So I would personally award a mark here, I'd award a mark here, I would award a mark here. Your guys, that's where the 3 marks would be given for me. Okay, now question 3 states display all movies from a movie table with the director's name that starts with the letter D in IMDb ranking order. Okay, so again, it's telling me now to movies with the director's name that starts with D. So select star from TBL movie where director is like star, no, D star, thank you, D star, so it starts with the letter D. We're happy with that. I'll run it just to check it. Oh, it said also and in order by IMDb rating. So order, I don't know why it's asking a second question for order by, but there's a second question for order by here, which is cool. You can get the this is now by integer, whereas the other one was by alphabetical, so I can show you that there's no difference between alphabetical or by so this is by IMDb underscore rating. So now if I run this, sweet, it's done. Doug, David, yeah, it's in ascending order. It didn't, guys, as far as that is concerned, it didn't specify descending, did it? It just said in IMDb ranking order. Now, they just said by ranking order. They can't assume that you understand what IMDb ranks by or whatever. Yes, I probably would rather have it descending, but didn't ask that. But just for interest, I'm not going to put this in the memo, but how would I make it be descending? Yeah. Yeah, that would then change it to descending. But as I said, the question didn't ask that, so there's no marks allocated to that. So I'll just paste this into here. Okay, are you guys happy with that? No? Okay, there would be 1 mark there, 1 mark for this, 1 mark the fact that you did a director, and 1 mark for that. 4 marks. Okay, now the next thing that you got here is the next question. Let me find the next question. Display all fields of the 2 oldest movies. Okay, that's easy enough. Select star, because we're already doing star, we're already from movies, so order by, instead of that we order by year, and then we'll just go top 2. You guys get that? So I'm just saying select all fields from table movie, order by the year that it was made, which means the oldest will be at the top. I then just say top 2, which means it'll only return the first 2 of them. So now I should display the 2 oldest movies, which then is 1994 Shawshank Redemption and 7 1995. The weird thing is, I'm confused. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm just confused on I think we maybe set this together, so I'll remember some of the stuff relevant. Okay, now, are you guys happy with that one? It's easy enough. Copy. We move through to the Word document. Paste it into here. There would be 1 mark for top 2, other one from selecting for movie, and order by year. 3 marks. Okay, question 5. No. Okay. Question number 5. Question number 5 states, calculate the box office profit for all all movies. Display the movie title, the IMDb rating, and the box office profit. The profit is equal to the gross minus the cost. So now, when I do this, you guys would be able to be looking at it at the same time as you're doing the statements. I'm going to be doing similar here, just so that I know in this screen it's way too tiny, but yeah. So it tells me what to display. So it says display there. So I'm just going to write that while I'm working there. It says display title, so that's the field title, comma, the IMDb rating, comma, and the box office profit. So the profit is equal to gross minus cost budget. So now it's the profit next. Now remember, to name something, you can just go as. So I'm going to already name it profit, but now I'm going to have to do the calculation here. So now when I'm looking at the calculation, it is the gross minus the budget, right? Yeah. Okay. So it's profit. It's box office underscore budget minus box office underscore gross, and I run it to check if we don't want to do any ordering by. It didn't ask for any ordering by, so we can remove that. Delete. I run this. If it does that, what does that hashes mean?
You gotta
Expand it. The reason why is for example, imagine if it showed you this, and it actually showed you the number 33,500. You would need to know that it's not negative 33,500. So it shows you hashes, so you don't get confused thinking, oh, we only made a profit of 33,500. You actually realize, no, there's more data there. So that's why Excel as well and Access doesn't hide, for good reason. Because otherwise the person who's looking at it will assume, okay, it's 33,500. Meanwhile, it's 33,500,000. Yes.
So I think you went budget minus gross. It's supposed to be gross minus budget.
Oh, thank you. So I would have got lost the mark there. I would have deducted a mark for myself. Okay, so run that. Thank you, yes, much better. Alright, so now if I go back to SQL, copy, paste it into my... now, is there any marks for naming it? No, because I didn't ask for it. So now, did you display the title and the IMDb rating? That would be worth 1 mark. Did you do the calculation? That's another mark. Okay, this is quite a lenient marking there, but yeah, so there'll be 3 marks there. But truth be told, I think a lot of the times they would ask you to name it, so there would be a mark then allocated for the fact that you named the field. Okay. Next question, question 6. Sorry about the coughing. Hello. Alright, now create SQL statement to add the following movie to the database. Do I need to do this?
Yes.
Damn it. Okay, copy, insert into TBL movie. Is this a movie? Yeah. Movie, open brackets, it's the title, comma, the director, comma, the genre, comma, the year, comma, the IMDb rating, okay, close brackets, values, open brackets, single inverted commas, Hunger Games, Mockingbird Part 2, The next thing was Gary Ross, comma. I wonder if that is really the person who was there. Sorry, thank you. No inverted commas. You just have to say so, Rico, and I know what you're talking about. Ross, and then I wonder if these are real information. I'm guessing it is. I mean, when I do this stuff like this, I just like literally make up crap. I don't actually put in legitimate values for things. Whatever I put there, just don't take seriously. If I say so and so directed something, it's probably not. But in this case, knowing this woman, she probably did put in real values, which is very good of her. But I wouldn't do. IMDb rating of 7. Okay, if I run this, guys, just for interest's sake, it showed there in the question paper 7.0, so I would try just insert it as 7.0 just because, to be safe. Now I pressed insert. It's probably not working because I haven't enabled the security stuff, so let me just copy and paste this quickly so I don't lose it. So now I should have done that at first. Shouldn't have done that now. That's a bit annoying. I have to reset up my layout. It's very annoying. Note to self and note to you guys. What should I do before I start anything? Enable the security warnings. Otherwise, if you enable it later, you lose your whole layout setup. Like I just did. Okay, so if I paste it in here now and I run it, let's see what happens. Run. You're about to append one row. You guys can go yes to check it, but generally speaking, that probably means it's working correctly.
It doesn't have all the fields that the movie table has, though. So what would it do? Would it just
leave it blank. If there's nothing given through to it, it just leaves it blank. Okay, so this is worth 3 marks. Usually speaking, there would be a date here. What is a date enclosed with? Hashtags. Okay. So in this case, I would give a mark for the fact that you represented that. I would give you a mark the fact that you put in the values, and I would give a mark the fact that you didn't include inverted commas around your numerical values. So that's where the 3 marks that I would give if I were to allocate the marks here. I don't know if I allocated the marks here, so I don't know where the marks were allocated.
So
but
why did you put a hashtag around the date?
Because that's just year, so it's stored as an integer, it's not stored as a date type. Only if it's stored as a date type do you put a hashtag around it.
What's the
It's just a year, it's just
Yeah,
a
no,
year.
dates,
So you would be backslash, yeah, with the year, month, day, yeah.
Does that have to be in a specific format, like
Different computers are set up differently. Access will often take into account different formats by looking at your data, but it would defaultly try to look at what your computer is set up as far as it being the default date order of your computer, and then from there it would or the server that it's on, let's say, rather. Then from there it would look at, so that's why you guys as the programmer would technically ask the user to input it in a certain format, or you would make sure a format works, and you would format, so you would get a date picker or something in your program, so you would determine that, and you would make sure it works beforehand before you do that, but it's not really known. Alright, that was an easy enough question. Game of Thrones has been incorrectly added to the TVL movies. It is a TV series and not a movie. Please write SQL to remove the entry and ensure that you're only removing this entry. Now, there's arguments on how this would be marked. What is, generally speaking, the rule of thumb is that if you delete something and you only want to delete an individual record, you should only delete using the primary key. Meaning that you should look for Game of Thrones in here, find the primary key, and delete. So I would delete using ID 10. Does that make sense? However, in marking, we don't always follow that, because if you read the question, it doesn't tell you to delete record 10, it tells you to delete Game of Thrones. So if Game of Thrones happens to happen in 2 places, you're deleting Game of Thrones. It hasn't given you any more information on it. So it's either so you will be awarded the mark if you use, so you might have to have a more complicated where condition, like for example, if they tell you Game of Thrones with the director, whoever, and the genre, whatever, then you'd have to do your where condition containing all of them to get the full mark. But in this case, it only said Game of Thrones, so I would award the marks if you just delete it by where title is equal to Game of Thrones. However, as I said, or you could just delete for where the ID is equal to 10. Yes.
Say the condition was where it's Game of Thrones and the director. You would use the word and there.
Yes. You would just use literally and in the condition. So pretty much the delete statement would look as follows. I would choose. Oh, sorry, I should have put this in 2 lines because people like 2 lines. It is 2 lines in here, so it's fine. Alright, so the delete statement would be delete. Now you do not need to put anything there. You do not say delete a field, or you can put star, but if you put delete ID, you only delete the ID record, in which case it's going to give pear shape because like that's the primary key. How can you only delete that? So if you say only the field, only delete the value in that field. But if you say delete blank, it means it's going to delete the whole record. Okay. Now if I say delete from, now we're talking about TBL movie. Now the where condition, now to go through that example of what we were just saying, you could say title is equal to Game of Thrones. I don't trust myself in the spelling, but yeah. And you could then say and, for example, director is equal to bacon or whatever.
That's wrong too.
Yeah, that's completely wrong.
I'm sure. ID is equal to 10 is also perfectly acceptable. So now when I run this, it says you're about to delete 1 row. If it says that, it means your syntax is correct. You can cancel it and copy and paste it into your database. Happy birthday. So here it's worth 3 marks. It's a lot of marks. I would make this with a mark, so you delete from table. I would make the fact that you added a condition and the fact you did it by a correct value. I'd allocate the 3 marks there. In your guys' finals, that would only be worth 2 marks. So, but there will be a delete in there, but it's 2 marks. But quite frankly, that's a happy birthday to you question. It's a delete function. Yeah, you guys happy? Yeah. Now the next question states. That's not the question. The next question says the box office and budget values are blank for the movie with the ID 8. Update this record with the following values. Okay, this is an update statement, so we're covering update here. Update TBL. Is this movie or what is this? Yeah, movie. Movie. Set. Box office underscore budget to equal. How much is that?
130 million.
A lot. So 2 more. Why don't you just copy and paste?
Copy. Paste. Alright,
Oh, you have two
now guys, what you'll notice is that I did it in a different order there. It really doesn't matter, but I suppose for the sake of reference, underscore gross, is that correct syntax? I think so. Gross is equal to copy paste. Yeah, now you'll see there that would give me. Now if I ran this right now, what would happen? It would override every single movie with that. And is there any Control Z?
Yeah, you have to go where.
There's no such thing as a Control Z when you're dealing with database things, so you have to be careful with that. Like if you say delete star or drop table, don't do drop table.
What's drop table?
Drop table doesn't just delete the data inside it; it deletes every single record as well. No, I really want to show you something cool here, just because it's funny. And I really apologize for the sidetrack, but it's really worth it. Worth it ID. So this is going to be the primary key, and I'm going to make it a primary key, and I'm going to say title. Now realize this could be a very complicated structure, right? You guys get that? Now if I go here and I save this table as worth it, okay, now, and I'm going to add one there called bacon and cheese, let's say. Alright, now if I did I copy and paste this into there? I haven't finished this. Let me just cut this into a notepad in the meantime so I don't have to redo that later, so the sidetrack becomes more of a crazy sidetrack. Alright, if I go delete from oh, no, I'm driving. Well, thank you guys for warning me. Well, you did actually with it. Anyway, delete, and I say from worth it, where worth it is equal to 1, and I run this, right? It says, warning, you're about to delete one record. So I'll have to go yes, and it would delete one record. So when I close worth it and I open it again, okay, one record's been deleted, right? If I go drop table
So they don't need one record. So
worth it, yeah, because I had 2 records in there, I had cheese and I had bacon. I deleted bacon, so there's now 1. But it gives me a warning message. So now check, if I run this and I go delete worth it, and now I run this. Oh, okay, sorry. Let me close the table first. If I have drop table and I run it, run.
Oh, it's gone.
The table's completely gone.
it didn't even ask you.
It doesn't ask me, are you sure you want to drop the table? Now, not only are every single record that is in it, if it had millions of records, that table, not is it just the records gone, but the whole entire structure of the table is gone. It's gone. So now the funny thing is, Access gives you a warning to say, are you sure you want to delete a record? But if you want to like just lose the whole entire structure of the table and every single thing in it, no problem.
Can you get back?
Just no. It's just gone. Hence, I did this test on a made-up small table, so I didn't have to redo all the other tables. So, do you guys check it? How funny is that?
Imagine working to do that.
Have you guys ever heard the joke of a secretary at a reception of a school goes and answers the phone and says, "Are you sure your son's name is Drop Table Learners?" Yes. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it would quite work. So it'll probably be embedded into or whatever. But it's funny, just because. Now, going back to what we were doing, so you have to put a where condition here so that you don't just override every single person's box office, gross, and budget. This is why you have to test your programs a lot before working with data, and this is why they also do a lot of backups of data. Before you do an upgrade on any program, you back up your data, especially if you're ever working in a big company. The reason why is because that upgrade could potentially ruin your data because of some stupid things like this. Alright, where movie ID, they said the movie ID was 10, right? 8, sorry. Is equal to 8, I think that's correct, according to what it says there. Yes, that is correct. So now if I go and I run this, it'll say, well, hello. That means that it's not movie ID. Oh, you know what I haven't done? Update TVL movie. Where movie ID is my database called TVL movie? Yes, it is. Update set. Is my syntax wrong here? Update set to be that.
Don't you have to say and instead of
Maybe the movie ID doesn't have an underscore.
Movie ID is down here. Let's take a look at what movie. Oh, it's just ID. Thank you. Note to self. Look at the actual field names. You're about to update one row. Yes. Copy. Paste into the Word. Damn it. I will get this right one day. Alright. Control V. This is worth 4 marks. 1, 2. Well, hello.
How do you do that?
Control Alt. I'm pressing Control Alt Shift T is my shortcut to put a tick. But if I just go Control Alt T, it sets our TM, and if I go Alt Shift T, it inserts the time.
You deleted
But
some stuff.
oh, what did I delete?
Equal to 8.
Oh, thank you. Right. So my shortcut to put the tick in is I've made a custom shortcut of Control Alt Shift T. But if I press Control Alt T, it inserts that. If I press Alt Shift T, it inserts the time. So I just accidentally didn't press the control button while typing in.
That's a good pity.
Yes, it was great. It's now wasted 3 minutes of a YouTube video, but all good. Alright, what were we doing?
You need 2 more ticks.
Oh yeah, thank you. I think I would give a mark here and a mark here because, quite frankly, did you type the number incorrectly? No, I think I would give a mark for the fact that you used the set, and then I'd give a mark for the fact that you managed to type in the right number of zeros and stuff, and this number that's here. Alright, now number 9. Number 9 is we have 6 more minutes, so let's get him. I need to get a hurry on. Determine the number of movies in the movie table for each director. The director name and the number of movies that they did should be displayed. So we go here, we say select, we want the director name, so director, we want to display the director, and we want to display the number of movies. So when you count, you either count by the ID or you just count by star. You cannot count by any other field, because if you count by any other field, it's not guaranteed that every single entry will be counted, because that field might be blank for that movie. So it's either by the primary key that you count, or you just count star. So you select count star, director in the count star from TBL movie, and you need to group by director. Remember, you can't, if you do an aggregate function, you can't display a field unless it's grouped by it. So now it's going to group together all directors of the same. We run it, it'll show me David Fincher did 2, Gary Ross had made 3. You guys get it? Do you need any more explanation behind that? Cool. I did when I was on the board, when I was talking about SQL, I did go into this in a bit more detail with regards to aggregate functions. I would make a mark for, and then I'd make a mark there. So I'd make a mark for the fact that you displayed director, I'd make a mark for the fact that you counted, and then I would make a mark for the fact that you grouped by director. Alright, now, the next one, question 10, again I'm starting to try hurry up a bit. Display a list of all lead stars for all movies in the trilogy The Hunger Games. Ensure that you don't display blank entries and all names are listed are unique. There's a function called distinct that potentially can be asked here. For all movies in the trilogy, ensure you don't display blank entries and all names listed are unique. Okay, so it doesn't want you to display anything that is replicated. Now there's a function called distinct. I actually haven't taught that to you guys, but I don't even remember where it goes, so this is going to be a little bit of trial and error. So we're going to display, so I'm going to start off by just going select list of all lead stars. It doesn't give me which fields are once of them in the movie trilogy, so it's from TBL movie, right? Because we know we need to deal with movie, but we also want to deal with TBL movie lead. So now I've got 2 tables I'm adding here. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make a condition where we link them. Now if we look at the question paper, it links them by movie ID, doesn't it? So movie ID is equal to ID. So to link them, we go where movie underscore, this is actually quite a good question to ask distinct, where movie ID is equal to,
Oh no, never mind.
no, you're also right. It's TBL movie underscore lead star dot movie ID is equal to TBL movie dot ID. So that creates the link. But now it says only for the trilogy of Hunger Games. So now how do we know if it's a Hunger Game movie?
His name's Hunger Games.
Like star.
So we have to go and
Made by Gary Ross.
title is equal to, sorry, is like,
Star.
inverted commas, star, well, technically they all start with Hunger Games, so we could just say star. Now that would get you for marks. Guys, what you said with regards to where director is equal to Gary Ross, you would not get given the mark there because Gary Ross might have.
No, I was just kidding.
Oh, okay. But but for people who are watching this later, you can't use Gary Ross because Gary Ross might have made another movie. Okay, now. And in this case, I could have argumentally said like that. Now, this would get me. Hey guys, this will get me all of them, right? So if I run this, let's design, let's run. Now that gets me all of them. Now, 2. But now technically I haven't answered the idea of distinct. Now, It's weird. It actually has.
Wait, no, we need the.
Why did you say hunger?
Then we need the.
Star, hunger, star.
We need the actor and actress's name.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, because the brother's gone, to my knowledge, you just add distinct there and you run it. Yeah, there we go. So I can't see why it didn't change any difference, but distinct, after you select like top 2, make sure that it's only the top 2. Distinct means that it's only going to display it if it's unique. So if there were 2 values of similar things, it would display it there. So I'm going to copy this across into here. There would be a mark for distinct. Oh, thank you. There would be a mark for from both movies. You join them and you took that across. So you'll get. I would have maybe made this worth 5 marks actually, but it's very good there. Alright, goodbye guys.
What does distinct mean, sir?
I'm actually going to finish this, and so the video will have the complete version. Distinct means it must be unique. So if you have 2 records that are the same, it won't display the second record because they're the
So
same.
why did it display 2 the Hunger Games? Display the exact same thing?
Yes, it did because there was not. But if there was something unique, it would do that. So to answer the question, even though there's no examples of it, but to answer the physical question, I would require the word distinct in there because it says that it must be unique, which means it requires a distinct.
Okay.
So sometimes the example records might not show you any different, but because the question asked you to make it unique, you would need to add a distinct.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have got that.
Which is it's 1 mark out of the 4. Alright, now the next question, question 11, the last one, which I'm doing now on my own. Display movie titles of lead star that have received more than 1 Oscar. This is worth 6 marks. Oh, this one was worth 5 marks, so, and here it just displayed it as wrong. Here it displayed it as 5. So just obviously here it didn't distinguish it, so there would be 5 there. And in which case I would have given, the links would have been to, I would have even potentially given a mark for the fact that there's an and that you put a second condition, because it would also, or I would have given an extra mark for the fact that there's a join, because you might have had to do an inner join. So that's quite, maybe even just putting the original table there. Sorry, so the door was left open. So question 11 now has to do with display all movie titles that have lead stars that have received more than one Oscar. So if I take a look at my data here, the lead stars, let me just make this smaller again. The lead stars has a field called row description. How do you determine the Oscar wins? Okay, the TBL actress. So now basically we're now doing a three tabled thing. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to say select, it's wanting us to display a list of all lead stars, display all movie titles that have lead stars that have received more than 1 Oscar. So we actually only want to display the title of the movie. I'm recording, oh, your class, okay, sweet, now I'll stop recording this one. Okay, cool, there's a class here, I will post the memo to this, but literally all it's really doing is it's selecting, you're literally doing an inner join based on all 3, where you just list comma tables and you do the link between that one and that one, and you link that one and that one, and then that would work from there. There's a class coming in at the moment, so this video will be finished. The memo will contain this on it. I'm going to actually now mute the audio, so I'm going to continue coding. I am just going to not have any audio sound going through it, so I will finish it, I'm just not going to have any audio. Okay, so let's mute the